Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called The Caregiver's Advocate, a complete guide to support and resources. This is our volume 2 book from lead author Debbie Compton. Now, before I introduce these authors to you, let me just give her a massive shout out, you guys. Debbie Compton, I'm so grateful for your big mission and vision for caregivers. This book series is really super powerful and is just a gift to anybody caring, right? There are a lot of these situations. We're going to talk about some of them today with these authors. But I'm so honored and grateful to be publishing this book and having it be the second book in this series. So I've got some pretty cool people in my Zoom room today. Christina Buchanan is a speech language pathologist, dementia care expert, and senior advocate. She's CEO and founder of Trinity Speech Therapy and Trinity Rehab and Wellness, innovating senior care models and writing on aging. I've got Michael Lewis with me. He's the Chief Behavioral Officer at Family Legacy Financial Solutions. They have helped families prepare for and guide them through their caregiver journey. Reagan Hopkins is also here. She's the CEO of One by One Care, a business that provides better senior care through Alzheimer's friendly activities. Welcome, you guys. I can't wait to have this conversation with all of you today. Michael, we're going to start the party off with you. Give us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
So the chapter that I contributed to this amazing volume is entitled Balancing Love and Finances, How to Protect Your Family's Legacy. And the reason I chose the story was it highlighted several aspects that I think bear notice. And the first thing is, one, if you see something, trust your gut, don't ignore it, right? Oftentimes, when it comes to financial planning, people react versus be proactive. So the first thing that struck me was very much people often know something's wrong, but they don't act on it. Second thing that I do notice a lot with families and family dynamics is arguments ultimately come down to money. And it really does depend on the family to recognize the situation. That's the proactive part. And then set boundaries with respect to money, who's paying for it, who's getting reimbursed for it. And so when you blend those two together, that's where I think the power of the story comes from, because it's a tragic ending. All too many times I've seen where families implode and the repair is, it's unmanageable. Gaps just persist.
Yeah, Michael, and welcome back into this second volume. I am honored to have you back, especially on this topic. And I'm happy we kicked it off today with this topic, because this topic is in everybody's lives for many, many reasons in terms of the finances. You're kind of flashing me back to a couple of moments in the past with certain family members. This was always the topic that the rest of us had to talk about, but we didn't really have a framework or your support. This is like, I wish I had this back when I was talking about it. But like, what else do you want to tell people if they're just stressed to the max about the finances? What do they need to do first?
I think the first thing that any family, and that's key too, is recognize that it's not just one person's burden to bear. It really is a family issue, and so it requires a family solution, is to really understand the situation, right? People often will either do nothing because it's safe, or they'll rush to take action without understanding the financial consequences. which can be devastating. Two is to assign roles and responsibilities to people who are capable of executing those roles and responsibilities. Sometimes we just assign a role to somebody because he's a lawyer, he must know what he's doing, or he lives next door, so I'm sure he'll be fine taking care of mom's medicines. Proximity and education is not a proxy for skill and a willingness to do so. And three, if someone is going to put out financially with the anticipation that maybe they'll get it back in an inheritance, best to put this in writing. It not only helps set the boundaries for who's doing what, but it sets the clear expectation of how compensation is going to be handled, because oftentimes somebody is leaving work. So we think about what are they giving up in addition to what are they paying out for. And just by having the conversation and making it clear that, okay, I'm going to do this, but I have the expectation that it's going to cost me X, Y, Z, whether it's 20,000, 50,000, depending on, the level of care that's required. Let people know, because, the worst thing that you can do is force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. And some people will go, look, I can't do anything. Well, the bottom line is you can, right? You can be an emotional support, even if you're not directly helping, or you can be a financial benefactor and just say, look, I know what you're going through. I'm doing okay. So I will make sure that you don't, get yourself overwhelmed, because it's very easy to lose yourself. It's very easy to sacrifice your family's financial well-being because you're so overwhelmed with the love and compassion that you have for a loved one. And I think I heard Christina say early on, it's really important to really understand who your network of support is, identify what they can do for you, and engage them.
Michael, thank you for saying yes to this project, for being here today to share with us.
My pleasure.
Christina, speaking of Christina, let's move to you on your topic. Give us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
Yeah, so building the care team, just the title alone right there tells you how important it is to build a network, a team of support. And that also transcends that aging legacy. The goal really of this chapter was to not just equip caregivers and younger, even people my age, to help their parents, but to create a legacy for that care going forward. Let me give an example of that. So in the aging world, we have a lot of people today who are wanting to age in place and age where they are, whether it's in their homes, whether it's in senior living. And in my working world, in my profession, I see a lot of people who are just lost in this senior living, even in independent assisted living. Who can help my dad or mom thrive best? And who can I put in their sphere to help them really develop and achieve purpose, right, inside of wherever they're living? How do we meet them where they are? And so my goal with this whole chapter was to develop a care team for the aging person, and that's all of us. We are trying to develop a legacy and start the Doppler effect of change within this industry, and really begin to start showing up not just for the person with dementia, Alzheimer's, but for their families, and creating support that lasts a long time. So in my chapter, I talk about care management and the importance of that, and developing a very strong network and or person that you can go to who can really develop the plan of care and create a structured foundation for what's going to happen next. So mom is, failing physically, failing cognitively, perhaps needing more companionship during the day. Maybe those nights are looking more difficult. So how does this person begin triaging these elements? And care management is one step. The second step is the rehab team. So the rehab team is another great support. It's actually my background, my profession. I come from rehab, so it had to be in there. And I was kind of excited to put that piece in because it's near and dear to my heart as a speech pathologist. And in the medical world, we often think, okay, let's just throw OTPT speech, but what are these professionals really doing? do they have a background in dementia or an Alzheimer's or an aging or in any condition that this person may have? Are we really assigning value and purpose to that team if they're not really treating the right area and that person where and meeting them where they are? So it goes back to that. The last piece is financial, and I know Michael got really heavily into that and actually spoke volumes of what that small section is in my area. But it is developing a very strong care plan that involves if a person cannot make cognitive decisions or capable problem solving within the aging component, whether they have dementia or not, is there a power of attorney in place? Is there a point of contact? Is the family working together? To really come together for that person. If they're not, who can? And that is really essential. And also creating the team in that way. So making sure that the financial piece is taken care of, the person who's in the medical realm is there, and who can really speak on behalf of the person. And I love what Michael had said about that. Wanting to be in that position versus having a skill in that position is critical. So if you have willing people that are willing to step up in that area, it's very critical in order to have the financial and the power of attorney piece covered. So those are the three pieces and three pillars of support.
Oh my gosh, you guys can hear. Well, you can hear why people get overwhelmed, first of all, because this is a lot to handle. Christina, thank you so much for putting your brilliant information into the book, for saying yes to this.
Your pleasure.
And yeah, for being back to help with these topics. This is so important, you guys. I want to come back to something you said earlier, but let me get Reagan's take first on her chapter. Reagan, give me a little bit of your why.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the story that I share in my chapter, which is chapter 13, Caring for the One, I feel like that really demonstrates my why, or why I'm super passionate about caregiving. I think it shows why caregiving is so personal to me and so important to me. But besides that, I feel like my why is just really people based. I really feel like we're put on this earth to take care of one another, and I think that we can do that better and better as we try, you know what I'm saying? And so my why is just to take what I've learned in the caregiving space and in my professional life and give these tips out to people that I hear caregivers coming to me all the time and saying, oh my gosh, like I haven't seen my husband smile like that in a long time. And so my why is just to share these tips and the things that I'm learning so that we can all grow and be better together.
Yeah, we're here to take care of each other. I'm just going to repeat that line for a minute and let everybody just breathe with that. The world has gotten a little crazy, hasn't it? It's gotten a bit fast paced, and I think it's gotten away from that, what you just said. Yeah. What else do you want us to know about that? How do we reconnect?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times it comes to grounding yourself. So whatever that might look like for you, taking a step back. And this is kind of what I talk about in my chapter is just ways that we can do that, taking a step back, asking yourself really simple questions about the person that you care about and the person that you love, just to remember that they're a person and that they deserve the best of the best. I also think just taking a minute to notice the things around you. I think, as you mentioned, we live in such a fast-paced world that's constantly changing and growing, and sometimes we really just need to take that step back and notice the small details around us that especially in the caregiving space, mean a lot to the person that you're caring for. And then on top of that, just, following your instincts. Once you notice those quiet details, once you ask yourselves these really simple questions, I think just moving forward with it, following your intuition, following whatever guides you, and just going with it.
I'm doing a lot of thinking about this because I have adult children and I have mom who's close to 80, and I'm here in the middle, and not having to care so much for my adult kids anymore, but that place. But thinking about how I desire to be treated when it's time for my kids to do something about
Yeah.
me, right? And I'm in a place where I don't have to take care of my mom. She's a smart cookie and she's working for herself and she's doing a lot of things, but I'm still thinking about it like, how are you going to model it? And then what are your desires for when that is you, like this, it's a lot, Reagan. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So thank you so much for saying yes to this project. Thanks for being here to share. All three of you have got a huge thank you for you. I want to have you guys just get a peek at this beautiful purple book cover. Purple is my favorite color. And say thank you for putting your vulnerable stories into the book. I really challenged you all to put that vulnerable, real story in there, and you did it brilliantly. But then you're stepping up as the master teachers you are with your tools and giving these caregivers a way to take some action, practical action. And you all did that just with your hearts, with your souls, with your generosity. And I love it. I love it a lot. Christina, I'm going to come back to you now.
Sure.
When you were talking earlier, because I'm going to tweak the question for you, because you said something that stuck with me. Your loved one gets moved into an assisted living, a senior care, and that move was made, but it doesn't mean that purpose goes away. In fact, it's, tell us what you want us to know about reigniting purpose at that stage for that individual.
I think this is probably one of the hardest areas to tackle when a person ages. And I think it's a question for all of us at different stages and ages of our lives. But when you take your loved one and you're repurposing, and I don't know if I want to say it that way, but I kind of do, but you're taking an old purpose and making a new purpose, right? You're trying to create something new. And what does that look like? It's different for everybody. It's going to be different for each person. And I do think that the care team can be designed to reshape that and to help that person age best where they are given their background. If they were a profession, in a profession, for instance, that involved carpentry, do they still like to build things? And do they still have that skill? So part of what the team can assess is that person capable of building things? Most likely they are. Can we give them something to do that is going to help them have a new purpose? Maybe they're building birdhouses now. Maybe they're painting birdhouses. Maybe they're heading up a craft. I've often tried to help staff in different ways allow patients or residents to lead activities because it gives them that sense of self. Because perhaps they were a teacher in a former life, or they were in the trades and they really could teach something well. And I think that that embodies so much in all of my 20 years of time. If I could package that, that might be another book. That might be another book. But I think that it's exciting to explore that, and giving people purpose and meaning and meeting them where they are, I think, are the critical pieces there for sure.
Yeah, phenomenal. That subject kind of hit me in my heart a little bit, thinking about when people make that move. So I appreciate that. Okay, so Reagan, I'm going to come back to you. Caregivers are at different stages with the struggle. There's so many topics and so many reasons about the stress that comes into their life when they're trying to care in these ways that we've been talking about. What's your personal message to a caregiver who might be in the middle of that stress right now? What's like a step they can take?
Yeah, this is a little bit silly, but it works. My motto for a long time has always just been, "You're doing your best, leave yourself alone." And I think that's so true when it comes to caregiving, because I always say you never went to school to become a caregiver. You're often thrown into that role and you're really just flying by the seat of your pants. And so I just want caregivers to know, like, you're really doing your best. Leave yourself alone. There's a lot of great, great resources in this book that I hope can be such a help to you. But I think it's also just, like I said before, taking a step back, make it simple, maybe focus on one of these tools at a time. You know, I feel like even too many tools at one time can also be overwhelming. And so my message is just you really are doing the best that you can. You're loving your person, and that's at the end of the day, that's the most important thing is just to love and do your best.
Yeah, for sure. Leave yourself alone. Be gentle. Be gentle with yourselves, you guys. It's yeah, I love it. I love that message. Michael, coming back to you with this as well, what's your personal message to somebody who might be right in the middle of that financial stress?
So, as a behavioral uh, finance expert, I have a saying that goes something like this: the actions we take and the decisions we make have more of an impact on our financial success than skill and knowledge combined. Now, think about that. When you're making decisions that have life or death consequences involving a loved one and a significant amount of money, all that stress combined is when we make the worst possible decisions, right? And so you have to have a way of understanding what your natural tendency is and become more self-aware. That to me is what I would love everybody to take away from all this. I mean, there's a lot of great information that's going to be dispersed throughout this book. And you've heard from two other authors that are bringing a totally different perspective on this. But my perspective is be aware, be self-aware, know what's going on, and recognize that when it comes to making financial decisions, you can be your own worst enemy. And so get the help you deserve.
Awareness is everything. This is it. And for all the topics that all of you are talking about today, pause, pause first, be aware, right? Michael, that is, yeah, it's the golden nugget, I think, for life, actually, just all of life. All right. I want to close out today with all of you getting a chance to talk about these really impactful tools. And let's start with Reagan. You know, you all have so much to teach. You're coaching and teaching and guiding and supporting your people all day long. So I'm going to challenge you to give us this nugget, right? What's the most important thing you want us to know about the importance of the individualized care? That comes right from your title, Reagan.
Yeah, I think the most important piece of it is just remembering that your loved one is an individual, that they're a person. And that's what makes up individualized care, is just remembering that at one point, maybe it's now, maybe it was earlier in their lives, they had hobbies, they had likes, they had dislikes, and the dementia or the Alzheimer's that's affecting them now hasn't necessarily taken that away. They're still that same person, and we get the opportunity to take care of them and to continue letting them be that person however it might still look today.
Yeah, you're making me think of Christina's talk about birdhouses. It's funny, when she was saying that, I was thinking about the hobbies, like you mentioned, thinking about my mom. I was thinking about all the things she loves, nature, birds came up. So I'm like, I'm thinking birdhouse. And then Christina's like, birdhouses. I'm like, whoa, there's some ESP. What is it about birdhouses? You know, like, I want to make a birdhouse. But how great to come back to those passion, connection types of things. I would imagine your loved one will come alive a little bit if that is brought in, right? I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So Michael, I'm going to move to you on yours. What's the most important thing at this point? How do you want to wrap this up about balancing love and finances?
You'd think I was going to lead with something like a legal document or the importance of a budget and proactive planning, but I'm going to conclude by saying the most important thing that you can do as a family is to communicate. You have to talk with each other. Don't talk at each other. Don't talk over each other. Everybody needs to have a voice. Most importantly, the voice that needs to be heard and is often silenced is the one that you're actually caring for. And if you don't know what they need, then how are you supposed to make any decisions, financial or otherwise, to keep their needs, goals, and quality of life in place? So my advice is communicate, not just once, make it a regular thing. Don't have to treat it like a board meeting with minutes and all that stuff, but yeah, keep less of task, less of responsibilities, and share. I can't tell you how many times things fall apart simply because somebody assumes the role and feels like, all right, I'm in control. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need permission from anybody, and things just fall apart. So communicate often.
Yeah. Again, one of the nuggets of life in general as well. I love that, Michael. Thank you. Okay, Christina, the most important thing, wrap us up a little bit today about building that care team.
So I'm going to go back to the subtitle is building caregiver aging legacy. So you're really building a legacy, and this is block by block. This isn't something that happens like overnight. I want to give a message over to caregivers, like you're not going to always get it right the first time when you're building the right people in your corner or in your loved one's corner. So give yourself the grace and the space to create that purposeful, meaningful life for your loved one and also for yourself. I want to really hone in on this, is remind yourself that this is an aging legacy. These are contacts you want to keep and save for the future. Because if you do it right, the first, second, or third time, it doesn't matter. But if you create it and you lock it in and you really understand, you create a network, a massive network of beautiful little blocks that you can take with you over the course of aging for your loved one. And it's going to change and it's going to shift. And you might have to move one out to put another one in and change it up. But just know that that's okay, and that you're creating purpose and meaning, not only in your loved one's life, but in your own, because you're also going through that process as well. You're going through the process of understanding how to build an aging team to support, I believe, generations. And if we can get this understood now, we can do a lot more together as caregivers, as people, and as professionals.
Yeah, how nice it is to end on the feeling of legacy, you guys. Oh my gosh, Christina, Michael, Reagan, thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thank you for being here today to share it with everyone. You guys, this is way more than a book. You are looking at part of the generous community of experts. Maybe you've got a question today, or you want to carry on the conversation that any of them started, or I don't know, you're getting the goosebumps about some of these ideas. Come on down into the show notes. I have them all hooked up with their websites and links, and they're there to answer that question and provide the support and guide you the next step on this journey. We also hope that you hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of the Caregivers Advocates. The link is down below for you for that too. Lastly, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Thank you, authors.
Thank you.